If you're a player who sees the defense splitting pass but you're afraid to play them, in the next few minutes I'm going to show you how to execute moves like that in a game 9 times out of 10. After playing football for 11 years in 4 different countries, I figured out 4 methods that help me dance on the pitch like no one's watching. And if you're ready to play the game like you own it, like how you probably do in training when there are literally no stakes, let's get started. Now, this first point is going to build your base because it's a mindset shift. And yes, none of these points are going to require you to work any harder than you already are. Just in last year, October, I found out that I had the opportunity to go for a trial in Portugal. I was associated with a Division 2 team, and this team plays at a semi pro level, so nonetheless, I wanted to impress. After playing for 11 years, this felt like a Hail Mary. It felt like if I didn't get a contract from this team, I probably wouldn't get a chance anymore to chase my football dreams. And so I trained really hard. I was training 2 to 3 times a day, and I know that I was making progress. But there was one moment in particular where I was sitting down in this chair right here, thinking about the trial, and I was having butterflies in my stomach. My heart started racing, and all of this was happening here, just by me thinking about the trial. And this emotion that I was feeling, I felt it before. I feel it before games, I feel it before trials, and I know exactly where it leads me, and that is to me screwing up my trial or my matches. So I knew I needed to look for a solution. I went on YouTube and I found the exact advice that I needed to hear. And the advice was a simple statement: fear is always in the vague, never in the specific. And this leads us to a stupidly simple question. And I promise you I'll explain it to you in a while, just bear with me for a second. But the question is, what are you truly afraid of? Or in my case, what about the trial was I truly afraid of? Most of the time, when we're afraid of something, we have a vague idea in our head of what we're afraid of. We don't actually really know what the scenario is like. In fact, we are creating scenarios that don't even exist. Most of the time, the sentences in your head sound like, I'm afraid because I don't know if I can. It's not even a complete sentence, it's just a sentence that has 3 dots at the back, and you think that there is something there to be afraid of, but in reality, there probably isn't anything. So, this question, what are you truly afraid of? Try it, because you would come up with a very specific answer. Mine with 3: speed, stamina, and the ability to pluck the ball out from the air with pressure on my back. That's it. That's all I was afraid of. And I kid you not, sitting right here, saying that out loud to myself, I haven't even solved those problems yet. Like, I'm still working on my speed and my stamina and my ball control, and you have to keep working on it, obviously. But just saying those things, sitting here, 90% of my anxiety just vanished. The heart racing that I had, it went away. The butterflies, it disappeared. I haven't even solved the problem, and it took away 90% of my anxiety. So if you're struggling with it, I urge you, try this and see if it works for you. Quick interruption to this video. If you want to stay 3 steps ahead in your next match, the Tactical IQ Accelerator is for you. Within your next 2 to 3 match reviews, you'll be able to spot patterns earlier on the pitch, and you'll know exactly when to speed up or take control of the play. It takes 60 to 90 minutes per game, and you'll walk into your next match creating chances instead of reacting to them. And all of this costs less than a pair of league football boots. So if you're interested in investing in your Tactical IQ, click the link in the pinned comment down below. Now, this next one is a game changer, because when you take risks in a match, you will definitely make mistakes. But this one will help you not shit on yourself afterwards. So in 2022 to 2024, I had a series of injuries. I was in England in October of 2022, and I was playing football for the University of Birmingham as a part of my exchange program. In one of the matches, I tore my PCL, and just after 2 matches, I was left out, and my total playing time did not even come up to 90 minutes. Now, when I came back to Malaysia in January of 2023, I continued my rehab. As I was going through the process of rehab and I was curing my right knee, I decided to slowly start to integrate football training into my rehab. On one of those training sessions, I decided to take a paneka with my left leg, and I injured my left MCL. Now, in June of 2023, I attended a trial for a state team, and I attended that trial with my left knee not fully healed. During that trial, I was walking on the pitch, literally walking on the pitch. There was no one near me. The ball was on the other side of the pitch, and I rolled my left ankle. Needless to say, I didn't get selected for that trial, but when I came back the second time during the transfer window, this time I was selected in the team. Now, 2 days before the opening game, I was playing on the wing during a training session, and the ball came in from the fullback. As I turned around to sprint towards the ball, I pulled my left hamstring. I also only played 2 games for that team, and my total playing time again did not even come up to 90 minutes. Now, why am I telling you all of this? Well, because after all of this had happened, I realized that something had to change. And this was when I learned about something called the attitude journal. Generally, people write their goals down in their journal, but with the attitude journal, you write down the attitude that you want to carry into your next match. Say on that day, your attitude is to be a mad dog on the pitch. Everything that you do on the pitch has to align with this attitude. You go into tackles like that, you take your shots like that, you make recovery runs like that. And instead of setting outcome goals like I want to score 1 goal in this game or I want to get 2 assists in this game, start to set action goals. Say I'm going to dribble past 2 players 2 times in this match. I'm going to make 5 crosses into the box. I'm going to take 3 shots on target in this game. This just makes it a lot more realistic. And even if you don't hit your action goals, always aim to hit your attitude goals. Because if you hit the right attitude, the actions will naturally follow. Now, this next one is my favorite because it helps me play with a fuck you mindset. And it helps you go on the pitch with a burning desire and fire inside of you to want to win. When I was struggling in 2023 when I was playing for the state team, I started to lose myself as a player. Since I had so many injuries previously, I just wanted to prove to the coaches that I deserved to be on that team. Every coach on that team would give me a different piece of advice related to my performance, and I took all of it. Sometimes the advice would even contradict one another, but I was taking in everything. I was trying to do it all because I was hoping that they would notice me and then I would become a regular on the team. In situations where I would normally make instant decisions, now I was starting to hesitate. One of the advices that I got was that I need to start placing my shots more than I fire them. I'm very used to firing my shots. In fact, I think that most players don't fire their shots enough. I even think that most players don't take enough shots, but that's a story for another day. But I'm very confident with firing my shots because I've done it for years. I've always done it. It was always encouraged to me as a young player to just blast a shot. And now I'm being told to not do it. And guess what? Despite knowing that there was nothing wrong with my shot, I still tried to take on that advice. And it's not surprising that in front of goal, I would then lose the ball. Because now, instead of just making a decision in the moment, I would hesitate. And my brain was so tuned to firing the shots that right now it's just trying to do something else and it cannot comprehend that. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a time and place to place your shots. But in those situations, even if I had fired them, I would have still been fine. But I just couldn't do it. And what set me free was this: the coach's opinion is only an opinion. You don't need to take it on. If you're comfortable with what you're doing and it's giving you the results, just do it. Just because it's not how it's supposed to be done doesn't mean it's wrong. And it's same for your teammates. Just because they're calling for the ball, it does not mean that you have to pass the ball to them. I remember talking to my dad about this and he said that it's just a suggestion. Just because they're asking for it doesn't mean that you have to give it. They're just giving you options on the pitch. It's not a rule. If you can do better, you do better. But in case you cannot do better, then you take the option. Now, this next one is going to help you take calculated risks without the fear of letting your team down. Generally, when you're afraid to take a risk, it's because you're afraid to lose the ball. You see the pass forward, but you pass it sideways instead. You're afraid that if you pass the ball forward, it gets intercepted as a counter and the opposition scores, you'll then blame yourself. And not only blame yourself, but then you'll carry that blame throughout the game, and that will cause you to make even more mistakes. And you keep replaying it in your head, and it holds you back, and now your coach thinks that you're just a coward who doesn't want to play the ball forward. Your teammates are yelling at you to hit it long. Your coach is saying that if you play it back, I'm going to take you off. But you just can't do it because you've instilled that fear in yourself. Now, to avoid this is exactly why I gave you the 3 methods above. Because no matter what you do, mistakes will happen on the pitch. But there's one way to ensure that the mistakes that you make don't matter. Now, are you ready for this? Because this is also stupidly simple once again. And the advice is, if you lose the ball, run after it and get it back. Stupidly simple, isn't it? The only catch is you gotta be willing to run after the ball. Because it's not the fact that you make the mistake that matters, it's the fact that what happens after you make the mistake that it's what you're afraid of. Because if you make a mistake and then you rectify it and nothing bad comes off it, no one will even remember it. And trust me, probably even you won't remember it. It's when you lose the ball and then you flail your arms in the air like a little brat, that's when it makes the coach mad. And honestly, watching players do this or even pros do this, it makes me so mad. Because do you really think you're so good that you're not going to lose the ball? And now that you have lost it, you're not even going to try and get it back? Like, really? And you know what? If that's you, football isn't for you. And you shouldn't even be playing. Thank you for watching. I hope you've gained something valuable from this video.